wake up, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the world together.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm Professor Paulo, and I'm so pumped to be here with you today.
And I am Professor Rachel, thrilled to dive into today's material.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2026, and we are unpacking the absolute latest class notes for the English Conversations course, specifically looking at Group T262.
Yes, and for those of you who might be new to how we do things, or just as a quick reminder, we are broadcasting from Academia BSB Cursos Inteligentes.
Exactly.
We specialize in teaching adult professionals who are already building their careers. You are learning English online with us, which means live classes, our very own proprietary methodology, and all that original material hosted right on our platform.
It is a powerhouse of a program, and today we've got a fantastic roadmap for you. We are going to start by laying down the bricks, our vocabulary building from both the current and past classes.
Right, and then we transition into the physical mechanics of the language, which is pronunciation.
Yeah, getting those mouth muscles working. After that, we jump into grammar, looking at the passive voice and past participles. Then, oh man, we have a really passionate reading debate coming up.
We do. We're arguing about seasons and musical instruments today.
I am already warming up my argument. Then we'll review a real student writing assignment, and finally wrap things up with some gamification stats and our upcoming scope.
It's a packed morning.
It really is.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into section 1, vocabulary. Because, every great structure needs strong bricks, and in English that means your vocabulary. Let's look at the verbatim list from our current class. It's a big one, so I'll read it in chunks.
Go for it.
Okay, we've got pop, classical, Indian, winter, autumn, which is fall, summer, and spring.
Right, so we have genres of music and the 4 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Then the list moves into low pitch, high pitch, rain shower, nest, vibrant branch, trunk, and hugs.
Lots of really vivid nature and sensory words there.
Definitely. Continuing on, we have sprout, to bloom, bud, to bring. Oh, wait, the notes say change. I mean, change, toddler, and hibernate.
Catching that spelling correction. Change with a C.
Good catch. And to wrap up the list, we have to melt, to role play, swords, to wink, to pretend, song as a unit, music as a general concept, and genres like pop, rock, and country.
That is a very robust list. And the best way to master these isn't just flashcards, right? It's understanding their relationships, like synonyms and antonyms.
Oh, exactly. Like autumn and fall.
Yes, perfect synonyms. But then look at the antonyms. You have the verb to bloom, which is that beautiful process of a bud opening up, bursting into life.
Right.
The antonym for that would be to wither or to die. Understanding the opposite cements the word in your brain. Same with pitch. You have high pitch versus low pitch.
Now, I want to push back on one thing here, or at least offer an analogy. We have music and song on this list. A lot of learners treat them as synonyms, but they aren't.
Yeah, they absolutely are not.
Is it kind of like comparing the concept of literature to a specific paperback book?
Oh, that is a brilliant analogy. Yes. Music is the uncountable overarching phenomenon. You can't say, I am listening to a music. It sounds as strange as saying I am reading a literature.
Yeah, that sounds super weird.
Right. But a song is the single countable unit. It's the specific book. You listen to music in general, but you sing a specific song.
Got it. Okay. Shifting gears slightly to the past class vocabulary, we had to solve some really tricky exercises proposed by the teacher, specifically around prepositions.
Prepositions, the eternal struggle.
Right, like the difference between dividing a class into 2 groups, but feeling unity among members.
So into implies a physical or conceptual transformation or division. You take one whole thing and slice it into pieces. You divide the class into groups. But among means being surrounded by a collective. You feel unity among the members of your study group. It requires a community of 3 or more.
That makes total sense. And in that same past class, we had this amazing health vocabulary section. Real world stuff. Yawn, burp, cough, and blowing your nose.
Very important for the workplace or, well, the doctor's office.
Yeah. I mean, think about the physical context. A yawn is that deep breath when you're tired. A burp is...
well, stomach air coming up.
Exactly.
A cough is from the lungs or throat, and blowing your nose is strictly nasal. Mixing those up could lead to a very confusing doctor's appointment.
It really could. Which actually brings us perfectly into section 2, because knowing the word is only half the battle. Right. Pronunciation is the other half.
Oh, making it sound beautiful and accurate.
Exactly. Let's look at the past class pronunciation list. It's extensive, so bear with me.
Let's hear it.
We have anger, anxiety, psychological, acclaimed, 14, detailed, does, trauma, insomnia, behavior, nightmares.
Lots of psychological terms.
Right. Then vintage, ancient, female, treatment, country, hyper, research, exposition, old, suicide, employment, severe, century, nature.
Doing great. Keep going. Almost there. Paragraph, church, teach, explanation, exception, experience, bowl, told, sketches, fishes, human, hospital, hill, future, culture, world, word, difficult, difficulty, and united.
Wow. Okay, there is a massive trap in that list.
Yeah.
The classic world versus word.
Yes. The phonetics there are all about tongue placements.
It really is a physical workout.
It is. When you say word, W-O-R-D, your tongue stays pretty flat. It pulls back slightly, but when you say world, W-O-R-L-D, you have to engage the tip of your tongue.
Right, it has to hit the roof of your mouth.
Exactly. It has to touch the alveolar ridge, that bump right behind your teeth, to make that L sound before landing on the D. Word. World.
I tell my students all the time, if you don't feel the tip of your tongue move, you didn't say world.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the current class pronunciation. I'm going to read the word and then give a sentence for context.
Sounds good. Let's hear the false similarities, too.
First up, pitch. The musician played a high pitch.
And you really have to be careful not to confuse pitch with peach.
Oh, this is the danger zone.
It is. Pitch uses a short, crisp I sound, relaxed jaw. Peach uses a long, smiling E sound. If you aren't careful, your serious musical discussion turns into a fruit salad.
He played a lovely peach. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Huh.
Okay, next word. Musician. The musician tuned the guitar.
Notice the sheaf sound in the middle there. Musician.
Right. Next, tube. The water flowed through the long tube.
Do not confuse that with tub, which has a short
Next, waterfall. We hiked up to the waterfall.
Nice open ah sound in fall.
Previous. The previous lesson was hard. Tulips. The yellow tulips are blooming. Harvest. It is time to harvest the crops.
Very crisp V and harvest.
Them. I gave the book to them. Sprouts. The green sprouts came up in spring. Skin. The bark is the tree's skin.
Again, short I in skin.
Buddy. My dog is my best buddy. Angry. The storm looked dark and angry. And finally, pirate. The kid's dressed up like a pirate.
Excellent. Getting those vowel sounds right is crucial.
Speaking of crucial, let's transition into the operating system of the language itself. Section 3, Grammar. We are looking at Unit 57, the passive voice, and Unit 23, past participles.
Yes, the passive voice is fascinating. It's all about shifting the focus. The formula you need to memorize is subject plus the verb to be plus the past participle. But the absolute rule here is that it only works with transitive verbs, verbs that take a direct object.
Give me some examples, because I think of it like a camera lens.
Oh, I love that analogy. Well, here is an affirmative example. The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci.
Right. So in the active voice, the camera is focused on Da Vinci the Who. But in the passive voice, you pan the camera lens away from the actor and zoom in on the result.
Yeah.
The Mona Lisa was painted.
Exactly. For a negative example, this dish is not cooked in the traditional way. The focus is on the dish, not the chef.
Right.
And interrogative. Are these toys made in China? Again, we care about the toys, not the specific factory worker who made them.
It's all about what information is most important. But to build these sentences, you need past participles, which brings us to Unit 23, and the biggest trap for adult learners.
The ed versus ing adjectives.
The I am very boring mistake.
If you say, I am very boring, you are using the ing ending, which describes the cause of a feeling. You are telling everyone that you radiate boredom. You are an uninteresting person.
You are insulting yourself.
Profoundly. What you meant to say was, I am very bored, with the ed ending. That describes your internal feeling, your state of mind.
It's a tiny grammatical difference, but the psychological impact is massive.
It really is.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. We are going to take a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We have a heated debate on classical music and seasons coming up right after this. Mid-episode commercial break. Hey everyone, Professor Paulo here. I know that balancing a full-time career with learning a new language is incredibly tough.
And Professor Rachel here. We see the effort you are putting in at Academia BSB. Sometimes it feels like you're climbing a mountain, but remember that consistency builds fluency.
Exactly. Every single minute you invest in studying today is an investment in your future self. Keep pushing, keep practicing, and let's get back to the deep dive. Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about grammar and shifting focus, which really reminded me of this road trip I took.
Oh, do tell.
So I was driving through the mountains, right, and I wanted the vibe to be epic. So I put on Vivaldi's Four Seasons.
A classic choice.
Right. And I'm driving, gripping the wheel, feeling the music, and I realize I'm aggressively trying to sing along. But there are no lyrics. It's just sonnets and strings. I was just humming loudly at my windshield.
You're trying to force your active voice onto a passive masterpiece.
I really was. And that ties perfectly into our reading section today, because we are looking at texts about seasons and musical instruments, and I want to start with 4 seasonal feelings and thoughts.
Let's do it.
I'm going to defend spring and summer here. The text describes it so beautifully. It talks about vibrant colors, the blooming tulips in Ottawa. I mean, the Tulip Festival there is incredible. And even the rain isn't sad. It's a rain shower brought by the tree's buddy, Claudia. It's full of life.
I see your point, Paulo, but autumn and winter are narratively superior.
Their way.
Yes. The text mentions Algonquin Park's breathtaking foliage. The entire landscape literally changes color, plus maple syrup.
Okay, maple syrup is good.
And winter shows resilience. The text talks about the ice hotels in Quebec, humans building actual structures out of the cold. There is a quiet majesty to it that summer just doesn't have.
All right, I'll give you the ice hotels. But what about debate 2? The instruments.
Yeah.
We have the strings trifecta versus trumpet, tuba, and the trombone.
The strings are the emotional core.
I'm sorry? But the brass section is the powerhouse. The trombone alone. It uses a literal slide to change pitch. It's made of brass and zinc. It's visceral. It demands your attention.
It demands attention, sure, but strings demand vulnerability. The violin, the cello, they rely on the friction of horsehair across tense strings. It mimics the human voice. The text highlights masters like cellist Yo-Yo Ma and violinist Itzhak Perlman. You can't beat that level of storytelling.
Storytelling, right. Which brings us right back to my Vivaldi road trip.
Exactly, because our YouTube source on Vivaldi's 4 Seasons proves that music is the ultimate storyteller. Vivaldi didn't use a massive brass section.
Yep.
He used a small chamber orchestra. He used the strings to mimic the sounds of nature. Barking dogs, murmuring leaves, thunderstorms. He aligned the music perfectly with poetic sonnets to tell a story without a single spoken word.
It's brilliant. He used the instruments to control the narrative. And speaking of controlling the narrative, that leads us to section 5, writing.
Yes, the essay analysis.
This was a psychoanalytic reflection on control, trust, and autonomy, using our target grammar, the passive voice. Let's look at student B, Sandra Teixeira.
Sandra did a phenomenal job, but let's look at her first draft. It used the active voice for everything. She wrote, I organize my schedule. I cook the meals.
Right, which grammatically is fine, but psychologically, repeating, I sounds exhausting. It sounds like she's micromanaging her own life. It lacks trust.
Precisely. So expanding on the teacher's feedback, her second draft deployed the passive voice. I organize my schedule became my schedule is organized.
Meals are prepared.
Exactly. By stepping back and letting the action be the focus, the grammar itself reflects the psychological act of delegating and trusting others. It is incredibly sophisticated.
It really is. And because it's so good, with Sandra's consent, we are publishing this stellar final version on the school's blog at students.academiabsb.o.br blog.
A huge congratulations to her.
And along with the publications, she gets her well-deserved reward, which means it is time for a gamification break.
Take it away.
All right, stepping into the sports announcer booth. Remember, every activity you complete on the Academia BSB platform earns you points, estrelinas, to climb that leaderboard.
Yeah.
And looking at the stats today, Estrelis, Ganhas, Hoje, 18.
Wow, 18.
18 stars earned today.
Right.
And a massive high-energy shout-out to Alan. Alan has been crushing the platform this week, proving that hard work in the academic arena truly pays off. Keep climbing that leaderboard, Alan.
That is fantastic. It is so rewarding to see that level of dedication. And really, bringing it back to the big picture, looking at Group T262, your individual and collective performances are outstanding.
They really are.
You are firmly on the path to reaching CEFRL level B1.
And the data proves it.
Yeah.
Just look at the class stats.
Yeah.
The phonetic deviation ratio from the past class to the current class dropped to minus 325%.
That is a massive improvement. It shows real, tangible progress in your pronunciation.
You guys are doing the work.
Yeah.
So as a final grammar overview, remember your bibliographic references. Go back to Unit 23 to review those past participles. Don't be boring, be bored.
Yes, please. And check Unit 57 for the mechanics of the passive voice.
Because you're going to need those tools for our upcoming linguistic scope. Next week's class is called How to Deal with the Winter Season.
Oh, that sounds chilly.
It will be. You will discover new ways to survive the cold, and the advanced grammar will be mastered by you. But I have to leave you with a cliffhanger. What secret survival tactic will we uncover next week to beat the freeze? You'll have to tune in to find out.
I can't wait for that. And to close out our deep dive today, I want to highlight a beautiful literary connection drawn directly from your grammar exercises in exercise 57.1.
Oh, I love this part.
The workbook uses the sentence, "This fairy tale was written by Oscar Wilde." Oscar Wilde was a 19th century master of aestheticism. Through works like The Picture of Dorian Gray and The Happy Prince, he used beautiful, precise language to evoke deep emotional truth.
He really did.
It just shows the emotional weight that language carries. The words you choose, the grammar you use, it shapes the reality of the person listening to you.
It's so true. Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thank you for joining us. And as always, let's close out with our Academia BSB motto. Remember, it's not only about the language.
It's all about communication.
Have a fantastic morning, everyone, and keep learning.